So Stephen A. Smith. Oh, lads. I already didn't like this guy. I already thought he was one of the worst faces in sports media, and this just made it worse.
What did you see from Russell Westbrook?
Inexcusable behavior. That's what I saw. That Russell Westbrook deserved to be suspended for today's game. I called the league office and I said, I need an explanation. Tell me why Russell Westbrook wasn't suspended.
Before we get on, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible just so we can monetize. But anyway, now let's get on to the video. So Stephen A. Smith, for some reason, is really annoyed that Russell Westbrook was allowed play today against Dallas. Why was he annoyed? I don't know. But he was annoyed enough that he apparently called the league offices. He called the league offices and asked why he wasn't suspended. First of all, this is the playoffs. You gotta put someone in danger to get suspended. And that is just, for me, that is the complete another line where it's drawn. If you put another player in danger and you get a suspension, fine. If you curb stomp someone like Draymond Green did last year to Domantas Sabonis, yeah, suspend them. Westbrook wasn't gonna hurt anybody. It was literally just game got a little bit chippy at the end. It happens. It happens in basketball. Obviously, you give them your tee, you get them, he got ejected. That's fine. The technical fouls and things like that add up, and if you get too many in the playoffs, you can get a suspension. Obviously, if you do a certain amount of things if you do it repetitively, you can get a suspension. Things that aren't worthy of suspension, doing it repetitively, being suspension worthy is fine. But not this in isolation. Now, come on. Come on, Stephen A. This is soft. This is so soft. And this is a guy who's all about all those, 90s tough basketball and everything. And you're out here saying you're calling the NBA offices asking why he was suspended. And first of all, why do you think you have the right to know, not even know, be a decision, impact the decision whether or not someone's suspended? Stephen A. Smith was probably a worse basketball player than me. Actually, that's probably, to be fair, Stephen A. Smith did play college ball. And had I been an American, I probably would have been a bang average D3 player. But you know what? Yeah, you know what? That's probably the level of Stephen A. Smith. Probably around a similar level to myself. I'm not going to be calling the NBA. We can give opinions, and Stephen A. Smith's more than capable of giving his opinion. But, to actually feel like he has some sort of a say in the sport of basketball, when he barely seems to know anything about sport. He doesn't watch the sport, first of all. Man was talking about was it Emmanuel Quickly? No, it was Quentin Grimes, sorry. Quentin Grimes still being a member of the Knicks. That Isaiah Hartenstein was a great bench player for the New York Knicks. After he started almost the entire season. He didn't know his own team. I'm going to say stuff wrong, but I don't claim to be an expert. I'm not going to get something incredibly wrong. I follow basketball in general. I'm a Heat fan. I don't follow the Heat. I'm not as much of a fanatic for the Heat as I am for other sports, basically just because of the amount of stress being a Leeds United fan takes on my life. I can't have that stress in another sport. So it's like me getting something completely wrong about Leeds and saying, I don't know, Patrick Bamford is a bench player because he scored less goals than pro. Or talking about, I'm trying to think who left during the year, Sam Greenwood who scored a couple of goals for Middlesbrough, talking about how Sam Greenwood's balling out. No, you just don't. If you're a fan of that team, you don't mess up things like that. It's so frustrating listening to this guy talk, and so many things throughout the years. On my BBALL Daily channel, I made a video talking about a situation where he blamed Steph Curry for something when he wasn't even in the building. Something about the Kevin Durant situation, when Kevin Durant and Draymond got into it, blamed Steph Curry for not stopping it on the court when he wasn't there. It's things like that where you're this guy is literally, he is a much bigger version of what I'm doing right now, which is just talking nonsense about the sport of basketball. Talking about the sport from the perspective of reactionary content, not looking too deep into things, and saying the first thing that comes into his head, which he's good at. But you can't do that and then claim to be some sort of an analyst or try to go to a league office and actually affect the sport. If you watch the sport from the perspective of a complete and utter casual, which is completely fine to do, the vast majority of sports watchers do that. If you're watching the sport through the eyes of a casual, you can give opinions. But it's when you see him getting an MVP vote and he's not going to have he's not going to give it to Jokic, and he was never going to give it to Jokic. He didn't have Luka on any of his All-NBA teams last year. He votes based on what the narrative is of the MVP. Like, it's so frustrating. And it's just a continuous frustration on Stephen A. Smith. And it's not even about the stuff that he says on his shows at the end of the day. Like, Stephen A. Smith his job is to be entertaining. And the vast majority of the people that will watch First Take or the Stephen A. Smith Show are complete casuals for a sport. His job is to cater for them. And if you are getting a casual audience and you are going full on, like, thinking basketball and throwing all these, like, numbers, throwing the, like, kitchen sink value, whatever the hell the Nikola Jokic, the stat that he leads the NBA in the kitchen sink stat, I don't know what it is. If you're throwing all these random numbers and doing all these mad breakdowns, casual fans, they're going to turn off. There's a reason why more people watch Stephen A. Smith than watch people going into huge detail on things. The fact that the man thinks he actually has the right to try change the sport itself when he is as much of a casual as people that sit down, watch the game, and he gives the same opinions as a person with their feet kicked up, watching the game, and they just shout random things being like, oh, the X coach should just do X, Y, or Z. Or, Luka's walking down. Luka just looks like he doesn't want it anymore. Like, that's the Stephen A. Smith, like, look at eyesight, like, perspective of the game. That's what I say. It's the Stephen A. Smith perspective. And that's fine. Just don't try to change the actual sport when that's what your position is.